Hello, everybody. You're watching another episode of FunSmithsInternational. So today we're reviewing Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. But this is the spoiler talk review, so we want to make it very clear.
Are you sure this is a spoiler talk review? Are you sure?
So but before you say anything, to everybody on YouTube, and if you've not seen the movie yet, do not watch this video. Stop, watch it now. Okay, with that said...
Okay, so now that you've confirmed that this is in fact a spoiler video.
Yoda's
back! Yoda's back! Yoda's back! Yoda's back! Yoda's back! Yoda's back! Okay. You think I told him enough?
Yes. Favorite scene in the whole movie. Like, there's not even a close second. Favorite scene in the movie because so we called it. We kept saying we hoped we see at least one of the three. At least one of the three again in the Force forms. And yes, we did see Yoda again. Him and Luke have a great heart-to-heart with each other, and it's like no time has passed. It's like that 30 years has not passed. They still just have this great bond, and it just pulled at our freaking heartstrings, and we were geeking out.
Point to that shirt.
Yeah. We wore this. Well, we both wore the same shirt.
Yeah, I just stuck my head underneath it and I just wore it. You know, we're like a conjoined twin.
I'm sorry. I'm excited. It's like I wore this shirt open and not. Just because it's my favorite Star Wars shirt. I know I had a stuffed Yoda toy in pocket because Yoda is like my second favorite character, second only to Darth Vader, aka Skywalker. Gosh. And it's like a bunch of people seeing me with that and being like, well, how'd you know Yoda was good in the movie? I didn't. I hoped that. I was really hoping, and I almost about lost my hope. I thought there would at least be some sort of reference to him as well as Obi-Wan and Anakin in the movie. And there is a reference, of course, to Obi-Wan. We'll talk about that later. We'll get back into that. There's a reference to Anakin, aka Vader. We'll talk about that though. But we get to see Yoda. We actually get to see him, and hopefully this is left open for Obi-Wan and Anakin to actually appear in the next film in their Force films. Forms, excuse me.
Force films.
It's like I'm still lost for words, and it was so hard to not spoil that in our review without the spoilers. So I'm glad we can talk about that now because I'm just so excited. We're both still just so stuck on the film. We saw the movie again recently with our mom because she had to take care of our dog who just been neutered. So she couldn't go with us opening night. We went with our dad opening night, but we saw it again recently with her, and she loved it just as much as we did. And I realized that in our non spoiler review, we kind of forgot to mention exactly where we thought it plays on our favorites list because we had said before in our 9 favorite Star Wars movies list. If you watch that video, you probably have a pretty good idea on where this one places because we did say that we thought this one topped both The Force Awakens and Rogue One. The Force Awakens was our favorite film before this film, like after the original trilogy. That is, it was number 4. So, saying that probably tells you that Last Jedi is number 4. It's the fourth best one in our opinion.
Yeah.
That they have done, and although our dad actually said that it might possibly be his second favorite, but only to the very first one. I knew, but that's his favorite because that was he actually saw that one in the theater, and it was one of the few movies that he saw in the theater because back then he didn't see movies as much back then before we were born, but he did see that one, and he didn't think Star Wars was going to become as popular as it has, but he loved it. He missed Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi in the theater. He saw them later on TV. Our favorite is Return of the Jedi. We haven't asked our mom yet where she thinks it ranks, but we'll definitely get into that. And but yeah, and also in our Star Wars Celebration video, we talked about, of course, how the very first one had the record for highest grossing film of all time in 1977 when it came out. A record we said it wouldn't get back until about 32 years later, and we realized now that we said that we talk a little bit more about that later, and we kind of forgot, but of course you guys probably already know what we're talking about. Was it the Force Awakens? Got the record back as being the highest grossing of all time. Beat it now, James Cameron's Avatar. Yes, suck it. Take that, James Cameron. Take that, you and your stupid. I'm so glad we finally beat the stupid. I'm kidding. We actually do like the movie. Because Avatar, we're joking. Okay, we pissed the people off now. Like, we can see the dislactivity now. It's like
my favorite Avatar moment in all of Avatar is when Aang defeats the Fire Lord.
No, that's the wrong Avatar. That's the wrong Avatar. That's three more dislikes. Okay. No, let's don't get off topic seriously. Let's just go right back into the movie though. So the movie picks up right where the Force Awakens left off. You see, so Supreme Leader Stuck has led a group led by General Hux, and he's just as cocky as ever. Why is it the more we see General Hux, the more we like him? And you say, oh, but he's so cocky and annoying. Yeah, but that's kind of the way he's written. He's supposed to be like that. He's funny.
I can't help but just laugh.
And Double Gleason plays it very well because that's the way the part is written. I mean, he's like he's like Count Dooku except way better. And of course he's not a Sith Lord, but he's like the Count Dooku or Admiral Zhao of this, and he's better than both of them, honestly.
He's red-haired, he's like Opie, he became Hitler.
And it's funny because Opie's actually directing the next Star Wars. He's directing the Han Solo movie, Ron Howard. So that's a funny coincidence. But it's like, and General Hux, he's getting frustrated. And they contact the rebel base, and of course it begins with you see the scroll talking about that, and it says Star Wars. And I'm actually glad that they did have the title written in red letters. That really was just for the advertising to say, oh yes, stuff's getting real on this one. It's going down to this one. But no, they kept it yellow in the actual movie though, because that's definitely the way it should be though. So I'm glad they kept it that way. And then Supreme Leader Snoke gets pissed off, and he comes in via hologram, and he's yelling at Hux, and we see explosions back and forth, comes to fighting. We're introduced to Kelly, Marie Tran's character, Rose. She helps blow up a bunch of the First Order ships. But yeah, they contact this location. They're going after them. They've learned a way to find them in light speed. Of course, the Republic has been destroyed. They know, of course, that Rey's on the way to see Luke. They know that Rey's pretty much, or at least Snoke does, because Snoke has sensed it. And so Leia is giving Poe orders, and Poe disobeys them because he thinks, oh no, I can take this risk. So we're gonna hit up against that's my train of thought a little bit. We're gonna kind of just go in and
basically Poe wants to get done what he feels like he can get.
Yeah,
done.
we'll go in and just get this one ship blown up. Like I said, no, it's too risky. You don't have time for that. When did you get out of there now? He just obeys it. Leia smacks him in the face. Her classic is Leia taking charge. The classic holiday defense, which is the on our love for the other films that we all remember. And with that said, let's see. Okay, we jump into Rey. Rey gives Luke the lightsaber, and you think he's gonna do something with it, and he just tosses it aside. He's like, "No, I've had it with this crowd. I'm tired of this." Do you think I seriously went to the most remote, hard to find Jedi temple, Second Jedi temple, just so you can bring it back that easily? No, actually, that's literally what he exactly says in the movie. And so Rey tries to reason with him. Chewie finally wakes up in his door after he goes back to his chamber where he's sleeping. He's got his all those Jedi robes, and Luke has basically cut himself off from the Force. He came there to die because he was just kind of like, this is my fault. I feel guilty. I got cocky. I thought I was a big shot. I thought I could change new Jedi. I sensed the darkness in Kylo Ren, but I thought I could save him like I did my father, and I killed him. I tore apart Han and Leia's family because of that. I made the Luther son. This was all my fault. I know Leia blames Snoke, but no. I blame myself. And he says that to Rey. And finally, the person that persuades him is actually R2D2. So he meets back up with R2D2 on the Millennium Falcon. R2D2 turns on. He's super happy to see his buddy again. And then he says, "I'm sorry, R2, but I'm not coming by. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know if I can make you understand that, but the Jedi's reign is over. Okay, and I feel like it's time for the Jedi. I feel like the Jedi have caused enough harm in the world. But that's kind of way he's become kind of bitter and more cynical, and it makes sense because he's just been through a lot, and like I said, he blames himself. I mean, because he'd become a legend before he got cocky, and he thought that he could train Kylo and not allow him to fall to the dark side, that he could rebuild the Jedi, and he just threw it all away when that happened because he was being down, he was heartbroken, and he was broken down, and that makes sense for him. I mean, really,
what R2 does is he shows him the original message that Leia.
I know he still has it in his. He still has it in his program after all those years. Clearly, he had not been erased. His memory had not been wiped after the original trilogy ended. So yeah, and
he had that message all.
He shows him where like, and it's one of the greatest nostalgia moments. One of the greatest nostalgic moments of the film. Aside from seeing Yoda, you see it shows Leia just like you served with my father during the Clone Wars. When we need your help now, help me help with Kenobi. You're my only hope. And he's reminded of when he first met Obi-Wan, when they first went on that mission, and he first learned the ways of the Jedi. And it kind of speaks back to the old Luke and the old Jedi within him. And he's like, okay, fine. I'll give Rey one lesson, and we'll see how it goes.
It signifies that Luke is supposed to be to Rey what Obi-Wan was to him initially.
Basically, I think Obi-Wan and Yoda both, really. I mean, I think both of them. And
I compare old Luke a lot to a Obi-Wan, but yeah, Yoda.
Because he looks a lot like Obi-Wan the way he does. He also looks kind of like Anakin too, the way he dressed in that robe. And I remember that magazine that I was reading that was talking about Star Wars over the years, they could see and get ready for the new film, mentioned that you'll notice similarities between how Luke looks in this film to his father Anakin, and it also mentions he's now the exact same age Obi-Wan was in A New Hope, and so he trains Rey, and Rey, she's too powerful, and he gets kind of scared again. That kind of puts him off again because he'd only seen that relationship once before with Ben Solo, aka Kylo Ren, and he's freaked out. She makes her rocks move. Actually, much more than just the rock, actually. And she actually makes a crack in the mountain, and she hears like the waters down below, and there's dark side energy in there calling to her, and Luke just barely tries to pour her back, and Rey does not feel any force in because she realizes that he's cut himself off to the Force. Luke eventually ends up connecting himself back again, and he feels Leia's presence, and Leia feels him, and Leia is temporarily held up because the backside of their ship that she's on, that Aquarius Paladin gets blown up, not by Kylo Ren, like it looks like in the trailer. Kylo Ren almost does it, but you see that weakening in the film. Like there's still a little bit of light maybe, and you see him weakening because it's like because it's his mother. And we know that he already killed his father Han Solo, but even with him there was a little bit of hesitation, and with this he hesitates, and he looks like he's maybe gonna go back in for her after he hesitates, and then some other ships come in, blow it right up. General Hux tells him to get taken out of there, and Leia just barely makes it out alive, and she's in a coma recovering though, but she feels Luke's presence, and she says Luke, and Luke says Leia, and you just, even without them being in a scene together, you feel their bond again, and of course we also should add that Leia is the only one that survives that. Everyone else gets killed, including unfortunately Admiral Akbar, which may be sad, but I'm guessing they did that mainly because Admiral Akbar's actor Ed Racefield passed away right when they were in the middle of filming the movie, so they decided to just kill him off. They kill him off respectively though. They say Admiral Akbar and everybody else on there, all the other leaders, they will not die in vain, and Leia's not covered now, but you know what? We need to continue the mission on. So Laura Dern's character, whose name I've suddenly forgotten for some reason, I'm drawing one.
Wasn't it Holdo?
Holdo, who's a new character,
Yeah,
is appointed by Leia. She's one of Leia's students, and she kind of ends up clashing with Poe because Poe felt like, well, I'm really proud. He gets cocky. He goes like, I should be leader, but Leia subbed out of him though for disobeying orders, and plus Laura Dern has had more experience, so she's put in charge, and I guess to go back into Luke, and of course we see the porgs and Chewie sort of befriends them and gives one of them
interaction like this. They kind of hang around.
Yeah, it's very subtle.
Kind of annoyed by him sometimes.
He gets a little annoyed. It's funny because the porgs are handled very well in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I could easily see them becoming, annoying. The thing is, they handled them just right.
They did handle them very well. They weren't even in the film and over it, but they were in them just enough. I mean, I can see people kind of compare them to the Ewoks, but the Ewoks now are pretty beloved. But when they first came out with the Ewoks, people were more crazy about them.
Yeah,
people
as
were
long as there's no porgs movies, I think it's gonna be alright.
Oh, you had to read that up, yeah. Hey, at least there wasn't a Jar Jar spin-off movie. But I think people forget. At one point when Jar Jar and Zero showed up, they forgot about how much they did like the Ewoks. No, the Ewoks are fine.
The porgs are too dare I say, the porgs are too thick, I think, to be to hold their own moves. I mean, at least the Ewoks are shown as being actual kind of intelligent creatures.
And they were good fighters, and the porgs, like, they kind of just end up interacting with Chewie on the middle of the
porgs are kind of just like, they're kind of like hamster chickens or something. Like, they're not very...
Well, I feel like with Han Solo absent in this movie, and yes, he is absent in this movie, he's dead, quote unquote, as far as we know. That doesn't mean he can't still come back in episode 9. We'll just wait and see. But yes, he's there for this movie though. He's mentioned quite a bit though. They keep his legacy alive because it's very important because it just happened, and it's kind of the thing that shows Kylo's struggle where he is struggling to line dark because it wasn't easy for him to kill his father, and he does have that relationship with him that's pulling back onto the light. And even though he had a difficult relationship with him, I think it's mainly because I guess Han didn't understand his powers because Han, even though Han has realized now that the Force is real, he was skeptical before.
He's a believer of it.
He's a believer of it, but he still doesn't fully understand all the ways of it though, and I think that's where his relationship with Han kind of became severed. Really, I mean, and I don't know where we need to go next. Actually, I mean, I'm a little stuck because there's so many things to try to remember. This movie, big things. So well, Well, Kylo Ren meets with Supreme Leader Snoke. Supreme Leader Snoke is just tuning him out, and he's not happy with him because he lost his battle to Rey. And he says, the famous line, the classic line that we see in the trailer is, "When I saw you, I saw raw, untamed potential, and beyond that, something truly special. And I thought, with your bloodline, you could bring us a new Vader." And you hear the for a second,
and March comes back in,
and then he says, "But clearly I was wrong. Take off that silly mask."
So, yeah, he compares him to just a child wearing a mask.
he takes it off. He says, "You have too much of your father in you." There, I say it. Your father, Han Solo. They said, "I killed Han Solo." And when the moment came, I did hesitate. Yes, and it split you right into between the light and the dark. I sense
what I kind of find
the conflict in you.
He talks about a split and notice, and now he's got a huge scar. Now he's got this huge scar going down his face.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that.
He talks about a split, and like it literally did split him. You know what I mean?
And it's funny he says this is like I sense the conflict, even though Vader had conflict too. But I guess he meant more Vader before Luke reached the conflict when he was talking about I thought you'd be a new Vader, but it's like, well, no, Kylo, you have too much conflict in you. I guess is kind of why he's saying. Of course, at this point, we're still not sure if how much Kylo really understands about like why in the world do you think you're fishing Vader's legacy? Honestly, I'm not sure if it's so much that he doesn't know that Vader turned back over. I think it's at this point that he doesn't care. I mean, the other theory was maybe he just thought, oh, but they ruined what Vader was truly meant to do. They ruined his duty to what he's meant to finish.
Still don't know.
And it's exactly. Like I was like, no, I'm gonna rise up and be stronger than the Vader was. I think it's the way Kyle seems to kind of feel in this film, how it's shown. It's like, yeah, it's, you know, what are you gonna say? It's like,
we still don't know.
No, exactly. I mean,
why exactly? We still don't get it.
Yeah, why he seems to be sticking with finishing Vader's work. And maybe he's not really much we thought. Maybe it's not so much. He worships Vader and wanted to finish what he started. Maybe it's that he wants to be better than Vader.
Yeah,
that may actually be it. I mean, there's almost a subtle hint of that. I mean, he says you're nothing but a child in the mask.
Heck, we don't even know. We still don't even really know who Snoke is, or I probably should say who Snoke was, because
we'll get back into that. Actually, let's stay on track where we are in the story. Actually, and he gets angry and he breaks his helmet into millions of pieces, and that's what we saw in the trailer. The thing that we thought was part of Vader's mask, and when nobody says the darkness, and you see that that's actually Kylo's mask. Actually, so he has that mask off for the remainder of the film, and I am happy they still had him with his helmet on for at least part of the film though, because that was a cool helmet. I want to say that again though, but with this, I think it allowed us to really see how Kylo truly is kind of for the rest of the film, and just see him struggling back and forth as we kind of continue on the story. So Luke ends up telling Rey eventually what happened with Kylo. He says that he sensed the darkness on him. He confronted him, and then he turned on him, and he used the big wave of the Force to knock Luke out, knock down the tent, and he just burned the whole entire school down. Luke makes to get away with R2-D2, and he watches his school burn down. And Kylo initially thought he was dead, but then realized he wasn't. He took some of his students with him, and they kind of became like the Knights of Ren, the people that work with Kylo. And they kind of became part of the First Order, and then the rest he just killed. And Rey and Kylo are suddenly feeling this connection, talking back and forth to each other, and Rey gets very emotional and asks, "Why did you do it? Why did you hate your father?" I'm sorry for not quoting exactly right, but it's like yeah, you had a good father. He was left off. He had a heart. And he actually everything about you, and he says, unlike your parents, who just talked to you aside.
What's your damage?
Did care like talked you aside for the best, like you're nothing, but yet you still hurt for them. You still do for them what they are, and you seek for figures and other people in Han Solo and now in Skywalker. And